And just like that, Cardi showed us why she is the drama, but the drama will not make any sales.
We discussing this tomorrow. Let's all make one thing very fucking clear. Nicki brought up kids first. Let's make that very fucking clear.
When did rap beef stop being about who's got the best bars and start turning into family drama? Because whatever's going on between Nicki Minaj and Cardi B right now has gone way past rap. It's personal and honestly disturbing.
It's tweets out there. Them saying, Papa Bear, her kids know their ABCs.
We're talking about two of the biggest queens in hip-hop, women who built their empires from nothing but hustle, style, and pure talent. Yet now, instead of music, they're throwing venom at each other and even dragging their own kids into it. This isn't just a petty argument anymore. It's ugly, it's emotional, and it shows just how deep the hate really runs.
Cardi B versus Nicki Minaj, round whatever we're on, okay?
What was once about chart-topping hits has turned into full-blown chaos for the world to see. And the craziest part? This new drama didn't just bring up old grudges, it cracked open secrets that fans never expected. Before we dive into those explosive tweets, the wild claims, and the exact moment Nicki Minaj snapped in public, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. Because what's coming next might just be one of the darkest, most shocking chapters in rap history. It all started when Cardi dropped her new album, a moment that should have been pure celebration. But word on the street? Nicki wasn't feeling it one bit. Nicki reportedly threw shade at Cardi's album sales in a few now-deleted posts, hinting that Cardi faked her numbers to make it look like a hit. That could have been brushed off as harmless competition, but Cardi wasn't having it. She fired back, asking why Nicki, a so-called seasoned legend, keeps coming for her instead of focusing on her own level of competition. And that's when everything exploded again. What started as harmless shade suddenly turned into all-out war once the talk got personal. Way too personal. Because when Cardi accused Nicki of visiting fertility doctors, mocking her for supposedly struggling to have kids and blaming it on years of drug use, things went off the rails fast. Nicki didn't just clap back, she came swinging with a vengeance that made the whole internet freeze. She wrote, and I quote, "If I'm the Barney B and the flop is, I'm lying about fertility when the queen has never once seen or spoken to a fertility doctor in her life." Then she went full attack mode, threatening lawsuits, hinting at exposing medical details, and even bringing up Offset and other private matters that had fans shocked. But buried in all that rage was something deeper and darker. Nicki hinted that some women plan their pregnancies, throwing shade that Cardi didn't. She basically called Cardi's life chaotic, a mess caused by her own choices. Nicki's rant wasn't just shady, it was straight up biblical. She went deep, talking about demons, souls, and punishment like she was preaching fire and brimstone. But if Nicki thought that was her mic drop moment, she was dead wrong because Cardi came swinging harder than ever, and nobody saw it coming. She clapped back saying, "Girl, it's your son's birthday. Why are you on Twitter writing essays about me? Go to Chuck E. Cheese." That line hit like a bullet, sarcastic, cold, and perfectly timed to sting. And then came the moment that sent the internet into total meltdown. Cardi didn't just come for Nicki's music or her man, she came for her child, Papa Bear. She accused Nicki of being so obsessed and bitter that she was ignoring her own son, calling him non-verbal, and saying he was banging spoons, while hinting that her alleged past substance use had something to do with it. Those words, "Use those words your son can't speak," spread like wildfire across every platform, sparking pure outrage. The Barbs were furious, calling it heartless, disgusting, and unforgivable. Meanwhile, the Barty gang fought back, claiming Nicki started it first by insulting Cardi's daughter. Screenshots flew, tweets vanished, new posts appeared, it was an all-out digital war. But let's be honest, neither side came out clean, because Nicki had already crossed the line too, mocking Cardi's daughter, calling her culture vulture and ugly, and even hinting she inherited her mom's flaws. That's when the whole thing turned dark, real dark. This wasn't rap beef anymore, it turned into straight-up generational trauma warfare. Cardi went off, dragging Nicki's whole family history into the fight. She accused Nicki's father of being hooked on drugs and reminded everyone about her brother's criminal past that made headlines years ago. Cardi basically told her, "Stop throwing stones when your own house is falling apart." And just like that, things went from heated to hellfire. Nicki clapped back with her own brand of chaos, using religion as armor. She claimed Cardi's music was dipped in evil spirits, saying it spreads demons and darkness, and that her success was fueled by bad energy. Fans went wild, instantly dividing into two camps. One calling Nicki a bitter queen refusing to pass the torch, and the other labeling Cardi a reckless troublemaker chasing clout no matter who she hurts. But the saddest part? The kids, Culture and Papa Bear got caught in the middle of all this madness. Nicki's son is only 5, and Cardi's daughter is 8, still learning their ABCs, while grown adults use their names like punchlines in a public feud. That's not drama, it's tragic. And once something hits the internet, it never dies. Screenshots, TikToks, fan edits, they'll live forever. One day, these kids could see their own mothers insulting each other's children for views. It's heartbreaking. This isn't entertainment anymore. It's generational pain disguised as content. But here's the wild part. This isn't even the first time Nicki and Cardi's feud crossed into dangerous territory. Remember that wild night at the Harper's Bazaar Icons party back in 2018? The one where Cardi threw her shoe and walked out with a lump on her forehead? That moment wasn't just gossip, it became a symbol of how deep and personal this beef really was. Fast forward to now, and it's no longer about music, it's psychological warfare. Cardi accused Nicki of faking seizures after that fight, claiming she was shaking because of an overdose. And Nicki? She clapped back saying Cardi's husband cheats and that she'll be broke and homeless in 36 months. The hate was vicious. At this point, it didn't feel like rap anymore. It was revenge poetry with people's lives as the punchlines. But then, out of nowhere, Nicki switched up her tone, suddenly saying infertility should never be mocked and that women who struggle with it deserve compassion, not jokes. Sounds noble, right? But fans weren't buying it for a second. They called her out for pulling a fake saint act, saying it was all performative, just damage control after hours of throwing shade. Cardi saw it too, and she snapped. She accused Nicki of playing the victim, saying her so-called compassion was just a PR move to clean up her image. And it didn't stop there. Nicki went full spiritual mode, tweeting eerie warnings, telling her fans not to listen to Cardi's demonic music, claiming it spreads darkness and bad energy. This wasn't just beef anymore. It was turning into something almost supernatural. It almost felt like Nicki was casting a reverse spell, rebuking Cardi through faith like some kind of lyrical exorcism. Meanwhile, Cardi wasn't backing down. She doubled down, blasting Nicki's family again. She said Nicki's toxic attitude came straight from her upbringing and even went as far as claiming her son's struggles were karma for all the negativity she put out into the world. The internet was stunned. This wasn't rap beef anymore. It was a full-blown psychological war playing out for millions to see. Comment sections turned into digital boxing rings. Some swore Nicki started it by insulting culture, while others said Cardi crossed the ultimate line by dragging Papa Bear into it. Either way, the damage was already done. Millions watched as two mothers used motherhood itself as a weapon. But here's what most people overlook. This same pattern keeps popping up. Every time one of them's about to drop new music, suddenly the feud flares right back up. Coincidence? Maybe. Or maybe both of them know exactly how much chaos sells. Because the algorithm eats it up. But when that chaos involves children who can't even defend themselves, it stops being entertainment. It becomes straight up unethical. Imagine Culture going to school one day and hearing a kid repeat her mom's own words about Nicki's son, or Papa Bear growing up to see memes mocking him for something he had no part in. That's not drama, that's trauma. And let's be real, the fans aren't innocent either. Every quote tweet, every repost, every laugh just keeps this toxic cycle alive. Both Nicki and Cardi seem addicted to the chaos, feeding off the attention like it's oxygen, one post, one live, one subtweet at a time. But the internet never forgets. And neither will their kids. So where does this madness stop? When does someone close to them finally step in and say, enough is enough? Because right now, it's not about music, charts, or lyrics. It's about ego, pain, and power, all dressed up as shade. And the saddest part? Both women are talented enough to dominate the industry without ever mentioning each other again. But instead, they keep reopening old wounds just to bleed for the audience. Nicki, the self-proclaimed queen of rap, feels her crown shake every time Cardi trends. And Cardi, the fiery Bronx fighter, feels like she's gotta swing every time Nicki breathes her way. It's a toxic loop, good for clicks, bad for peace. But this time, things hit differently because motherhood got dragged into it, crossing a sacred line no one should touch. Seeing two icons weaponize their kids isn't entertainment, it's pain turned into a show, and the internet keeps cheering. Both women are trapped in images they can't escape. If Nicki shows weakness, she's losing. If Cardi apologizes, she's folding. The truth? They're both losing. After Cardi's harsh comments about Nicki's son and Nicki's earlier insults toward Culture, the backlash hit hard. Now fans are asking, how did two women who once symbolized female power turn their platforms into battlegrounds? If this feud proves anything, it's that there are no winners. Once kids became part of the fight, everything pure about hip-hop got lost. What used to be about strength and creativity turned into pain, pride, and broken legacies that screenshots will never let die. Somewhere between the fame, the filters, and the feuds, both Nicki and Cardi lost what made people love them: their realness, power, and fearlessness. Maybe one day they'll see how much was lost in all the noise. Until then, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you soon for the next one.